Hello and welcome back to Three Word Interviews. This week we are joined by the wonderful Maisie Adams.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited.
So, as with everyone, we're going to get you to pick 3 words and you will then have to slip them into the interview at various
Any
points.
point?
Any point you like.
Okay.
And then it's down to the viewers to guess what the words are. Tell the viewers what they're going to win.
Oh, okay, yeah. So my prize for one very lucky winner is that I will draw you, right? And now the thing is with that, you don't know if I'm horrendous at art or if I'm really good. Like I could be like a Picasso. This could be like the next Mona Lisa, or it could just be a stick man on a napkin. But that's the chance you take.
Now, obviously, we were here a year, almost
It is like a year ago, isn't it? Yeah.
So obviously, if you want to catch up on our last interview, the link's going to be down below. It's all about how you got into comedy because you were just getting into TV stuff. Weren't you?
Yeah. I think I maybe had one TV thing under my belt, but that was it. The main thing I remember is I was wearing a shirt that just morphed into the chair, so I just looked like a floating head for the most of that interview. So do check it out.
Now. One question that we did get from Instagram was someone wanted to know what was the moment you realised you wanted to get into comedy?
I can tell you exactly the moment. I was in my 3rd year of uni. I did a drama degree because I thought I was going to be an actress, and then we had to do this play, Adam, where these 2 directors came in. And it was a Shakespeare adaptation of The Tempest. And I loved Shakespeare, so I was like, brilliant, this is amazing. And they were really quite arty, like wanky Shoreditch people. And they were like, yeah, so it's basically, it's a Shakespeare adaptation of The Tempest, but we're going to set it in a disused shoe shop and at night. So the audience have to come around this shoe shop at night. Also, it's going to be like The Tempest, but set like in a mental asylum. So you're all going to like have shaved heads and be wearing straitjackets. It was like the worst adaptation of The Tempest anybody could have done. And I remember being so miserable in rehearsal because I knew it was really poor, and I don't like to go on stage and be doing something I'm not proud of. That's what I love about comedy, is it's what I've done.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm happy with it. So I was doing that at uni, and then like sort of when I was at home, as in at my student house, I applied for this. There was there used to be a really good arts website called Ideas Tap, and it ran a competition to win a masterclass with a comedy writer. And the way you won was you had to submit a script. And I'd just been working on this script in my spare time when I got home from uni, just as something to distract from having to learn the lines for this terrible play. And I submitted that, and he really helped me like rework it, and I really learned about how to write comedy and how to like not leave just some dead bits and make sure there was a punchline to wrap everything up, and about structure and all of that. And learning from him to write was way more fun than anything I was doing on stage as an actor. And that's when I realised, actually, I don't think acting is for me. I know I want to be on stage, but it's not through acting like that. It's through comedy, because I have control over what I put out, whereas with acting, you don't, and you can end up doing a very questionable Shakespearean adaptation. Oh, I'm still scarred from that.
And I mean, so obviously it's been a year. What would you say is the thing you've probably learned over the last year that's had the biggest impact on you?
Oh, that is a good question. What have I learned over this year?
Yeah.
Biggest impact. Do you know what? I'd say this is quite a melty answer, but because of the opportunities I've been able to have this year with working on some panel shows, like a lot of them are TV shows that I grew up watching, so it's genuinely sometimes like have to pinch yourself. It's a dream come true. You know that whole thing of like don't meet your heroes, and I've met a lot of people, like Jimmy Carr springs to mind. I was filming 8 out of 10 Cats the other day, and the first time I did that, I've done 3 now. I was so nervous about meeting him because you know what his comedy's like as well, so you think he's going to be really mean to you the whole time. And he's so lovely, and in fact, so many comedians who I've grown up watching and now are fortunate to work with on some shows are absolutely wonderful people. So I'd say the main thing I've learned is, by and large, because there's always a couple of knobheads around, but by and large, I think I've learned that to get to the top and to stay, you know, relevant across sort of 10 years, because they were big comedians when I was 16 and I'm now 26 and they're still at the top of the game. I think you have to be a nice person. You have to be easy to work with, good with people, kind, and just not a prick.
And I mean, you mentioned some of your TV credits, like 8 House 10 Cats. I saw that you're on the new series of Hypothetical.
Yes. I mean, I know you shouldn't have a favourite show to have done, but Hypothetical was my favourite.
Yeah.
It's just so silly. It's so much fun. And that was a weird moment as well, because I was on a team with Jonathan Ross. Yeah. And, like, I used to stay in on a Friday night and watch Friday Night with Jonathan Ross, and then Ugly Betty straight after. And me and my mum used to love Jonathan Ross. She was... she was very much in two minds about when he got kicked off Radio 2. She was like, oh, it was a terrible thing to do, but also, like, I really love Jonathan Ross. And so being on a team with him was really quite surreal.
Yeah.
But it was great fun, Hypothetical.
And you brought some of your acting skills into the last 8 Out of 10 Cats episode.
Oh my God. I was so proud of myself. So proud of myself. Yeah. Rat in the Hat. So 3 of us, me, Rob Beckett, and, oh God, my mind's gone blank. Joe Swash, all had a big top hat on. One of the top hats had a rat on our head in it, and we had to try and bluff to the other team who had got it. And I thought, yep, I've got my acting skills here from my bad Shakespearean plays, from my pantomime, from my Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Like, I've got all of that, and went straight out window. I mean, I thought I'd got away with it, and then Catherine Ryan was like, I think you're bluffing. And I chatted to her afterwards. I was like, how did you know? I so thought I'd got it. And she was like, I've been cheated on too many times. I now know when somebody's lying. I was like, ooh, okay. She's had one too many Hellboys, I think.
Now, you're doing your last couple of dates on your tour as well, right? So how's that been?
Oh, it's so much fun. I did the, I think the majority, actually probably not like, I've got 10 dates left, that's what I know. And I did probably about the same amount at the end of 2019. My last one of the year being here in Brighton at Comedia, and it sold out, and it was just wonderful. I was so happy with it. It was really, really lovely. I've really enjoyed doing this show, and then I had a break in December, and then I've been back on tour. I did Soho Theatre the other night in the big room, because I was there last year in the small room, and that was nerve-wracking enough, because Soho Theatre, they get some fantastic acts on. And then they booked me for one night only in the main house, which is, I think, 160-seater, and it's middle of January. No one wants to spend the money. Everyone's doing dry January. Everyone's trying to behave. And so I thought, if I can get 70 in, that'd be great. And I thought if I could get to triple figures, that'd be great. And then it sold out, and I was so buzzing, because I've only seen 2 shows in that room. One was Hannah Gadsby's Nanette, so no pressure.
Right.
And then the second one was Jade Adams's show last year, The Divine Miss Jade, which was like mad production. It had like Jade in big glittery letters. Rich was there as like Puddin. Like there was a piano player. It was insane. And then I was like, oh, my show is just like little old me stood here with my mic and just chatting about mistakes and stuff.
And obviously you mentioned you've gone obviously further afield for your tour.
Yeah. How
do you pass your time when travelling? Because there's a lot of travel time.
I binge watch a lot of Netflix.
Oh, really?
Binge watch a lot of Netflix. My New Year's resolution this year is to read a lot more. So I've been reading a lot. I'm reading So You've Been Publicly Shamed at the moment by John Ronson. It's amazing. But binge watch a lot. I'm such an old woman, but like when I get that train into London, I know it's not a far commute, but when I go to London, I love to just get an even standard and try and see if I can do all 3 of the Sudokus before I get to my station. I absolutely love that. Yeah. But I'm quite good at passing the time on my, like earlier this week I was in Milan and Antwerp for something. Sorry, there's a bloke just looking through. I was like, go away. Earlier this week I was in Milan and Antwerp for my show. And I'm quite happy to just walk around on my own and have a little tourist day.
Yeah.
It's lovely. Like how lucky is that, just to get to walk around a city like as before you're doing your show? It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's really, and you can pick up some stuff then to put into the show.
Now, obviously, doing a bit of research for the interview, found that comedy and acting aren't your only talents.
Okay.
I have listed down that you can do a lot of accents, apparently.
Oh no. Oh no, Adam. Oh, why have you done this? This is now just going to become, in the comments section, the roast of Maisie Adam. This came up, this is a spoiler, because it's in the Christmas special, 8 out of 10 Cats, But Jimmy also found, I think, the same thing that you have found,
Right.
which is my acting CV.
Yes, maybe.
Yes, which also said some other talents I could do, and he got me to do one of them physically on the show.
Would this be your circus skills?
Yes, yes. He got me a unicycle, is what he got me. And basically, I haven't unicycled for about 3 years, so I was like, fuck, can I still even do it? And you'll have to watch the Christmas special in 2020 to see if I can. There's no way to answer this question well, is there? Because if I go, yeah, I can do them, you'll be like, well, come on, let's hear your Southern Belle.
I saw South African on there.
South African. I haven't got South African on my CV.
It is on there.
Have I really?
Yeah.
I need to get that off. I can only do an Oscar Pistorius impression. I don't think that counts. No, can't do a South African one.
What's your best accent? Don't say Northern.
Oh God, yeah. Australian, I'm all right at. I'll never forget this guy in my class. We had to do RP, which is like received pronunciation.
Yeah.
So basically, like, think of how the monarchs speak. Like, that's RP. And we had to all do it in front of the rest of the class as an actual assessment. Like, you got given a first or a 2-1 on this.
Right.
And this lad, he had to do the speech, you know, the Winston Churchill speech of like, Britain is now at war with Germany.
Yeah.
And he like stood up in front of everybody else and he was like, Britain is now at war with Germany. And the woman literally had to stop it. Like, we were all doing that. We were all literally like that, crying. And the woman had to stop in mid-assessment and be like, excuse me, I'm going to have to stop you there. You're going into generic African. It was like the funniest thing, because he thought he was nailing it as well. He was like, this is my Winston Churchill. Give me a first.
Yeah.
And it was bad. But I imagine that's probably what I would be like if you got me to do South Africa.
Sounded a bit Desmond Tutu almost.
Yeah, it was really, yeah, it was very much Desmond Tutu, yeah.
Now, obviously, you mentioned your podcast.
Yes.
That's a first, right?
Yeah.
What can people expect from your podcast?
A lot of laughs. It's been really, really good fun. I know that's so cringy to say because it sounds like such a heavy plug, but it's been so much fun. So this was an idea I had about a year ago about, you know, like sometimes when you'll know being an interviewer, but you see musicians, comedians, artists, anybody in the entertainment sphere get interviewed, and they're often asked like the same sort of stuff. But I want to know what the firsts of those were.
Yeah.
So we have, say, if we had a musician in, the whole podcast is about first times and first experiences in. So if we have a musician in, they might talk about the first song they wrote, or the first record they bought, or the first, like yours was, the first time you realised that was what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Then round 2 is more personal, so it'd be like first time you got blackout drunk, or first kiss.
Yeah.
And then the third round is like a lucky dip. We had like first email addresses was one of them. And you remember when like everybody used to set up a MSN
of course, yeah.
thingy? Oh God, some of them were so good. And we've had really great guests on. Our first one came out last week with Romesh.
Yeah.
The next one's with Ed Gamble. We had the YouTuber KSI come
That's
in.
a big name.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. He came in like with his whole entourage, and we record in like a fairly small studio.
Yeah.
There's basically a seat for me, a seat for Tom, my co-host, and a seat for the guest. He came in with this entourage, and we were like, "Oh, you can wait in the cafe, guys. Like, you can go get yourself coffee if you want." And they were like, "No, we'll wait in here." And they just sat on the floor of this tiny studio, and you're like, why? Like, if that was me and my friends were coming with me, I'd be like, all right, I'll meet you in the cafe afterwards. They just sat on the floor. It felt like, you know, a childhood assembly.
Now, a question we got on Twitter was, what's your guilty pleasure?
This is terrible, but I discovered putting banana bread with orange chocolate spread. It's so bad for you, but also I'm like, it's 2 fruits, right? That's 2 of your 5 a day. But banana bread with chocolate orange spread. You can't find chocolate orange spread that well. I discovered this delicacy, we're going to call it that, in New Zealand. And I just think if every patisserie did it in the UK, our economy would be booming.
Now, our last question is, what's next for you?
I'm going to be in the new James Bond film. I'm the new Bond girl. No, I wish.
Spoiler alert.
Can you imagine if I was like, done 8 or 10 cats, done Mock the Week, obviously next thing, 007. What's next for me? I'm going to Australia. I'm going to Australia next month. I'm doing Adelaide Fringe, and then I come back for 5 days to record an episode of QI, which I'm so excited about because, like we were saying earlier, QI is definitely a show that I used to watch growing up. I was like, this is so cool. So doing that, get to meet actual Sandy Toksvig. I'm totally going to fangirl over her. Then go back out to Australia to do Melbourne Comedy Festival. So basically 2 months in Australia, which I'm so excited about. Like, again, I just feel dead lucky that that's what I get to do as part of a job is go to these like places that I would love to travel to anyway. I can't wait.
No, sounds good. Sounds exciting.
And then I'm going to be in the James Bond film. I'm going to be,
of course,
maybe the next James Bond.
Don't want to put it too close together.
No.
Well, massive thanks for coming along.
Thank you. It's always so much fun.
Obviously, check out all of Maisie's links. They're going to be down below. The last interview we did with her will also be in the description. If you think you know what the words are, then comment on the video. You
definitely could tell which ones they were. Just look at Adam's reaction. You'll be able to tell what my words were.
Obviously, comment down below or head over to our Instagram where you might get a clue if it takes you too long.